If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com, where you can find our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, our commentary series, Sync Points, other 90s Percentile episodes, our YouTube, our newsletter.
Everything we do is there. And if you want to support everything we do, all you got to do is go to patreon.com/WeStudios to contribute to our Patreon, or go to amazon.wepodcast.com, which will take you right to Amazon, and anything you shop will help support the show.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy.
60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we're talking everything 90s, and maybe also everything before and after.
That's right, and talking 90s with us today is Joanna Tillman. How's it going, Joanna?
Good. Hello. Hi.
Hi, how are
Good,
you?
hello, and
I'm
hi.
good.
I love
Hi.
it. We
Yeah.
got all of it out of the way.
All of the
right in the
greetings.
You
beginning.
gotta say all the greetings.
Aloha.
Well, we
Wait, which one?
The hello
That was a
one.
Kimmy Schmidt
Not the
joke.
goodbye. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I
remember
just
that one.
watched it.
we need to
yeah.
remember at the end of the episode to
Go
make
through
sure
all the
we
gr-
get
all
the goodbyes.
But
yeah.
no, it's a greeting. What's the greeting word for goodbye? For like goodbyes?
Well,
Does that
there's-
make sense? Do you understand what the question
Greeting,
that I'm asking?
like, what is the general term for
exactly.
goodbyes?
Like greetings is
See-
like hello
Oh,
and
I
hi.
see. What's the anti-greeting?
Farewells?
Farewells.
Farewell.
Greetings and farewells.
Yeah.
All right. I feel wistful now, talking of greetings and farewells on 90s Percentile.
Do I sound canny to you?
A little bit, yeah.
Why am I canny?
I don't
this
know.
Is, we're not cutting. We're doing some live on-air, some on-air, we want to get
Are you loud
Well, there's
enough?
a can.
You're in a tin can right now.
I am in a giant tin can. It's my new look. It's just, like I usually am naked, but with like a barrel hanging from suspenders.
Yeah,
and
like
I
an
wanted
old-timey homeless
But
person.
like there's wood rot. So I've switched the can.
And the wood rot happened to be right around your, I don't want to say which area it was, but you can draw a picture in your head there, folks.
It was my chest.
It was your chest. It was right around your nips.
I had nip rot. But no, I sound better now, right?
You sound better now. I think you were a little low.
I took my can off. I'm
You
naked
took the
now.
can off.
I'm recording naked.
Did anything happen? Did you do anything, or did you just adjust your voice?
I literally took the timbre out, the tinniness out of my
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah,
That's exactly
You
it.
just massaged your.
I'm right now doing an impression of what Jack Facone would sound like if he was slightly less tinny.
Absolutely. And it's working.
It's the only impression I can do
That's it.
accurately.
It's
that
very good.
and
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Oh, it's me.
The
Oh my
one,
God,
the one
Tom Hanks
downside
is
to this
here!
is that at the end of the 60 minutes, you're going to be bleeding from all the holes.
That's the con to doing
Jack,
that
that's
impression.
exactly right. Yeah, that's a risk you
Who's
take when you
talking?
do a
Who are you,
podcast.
Joanna? Where did you come from? Let's let the audience know you are a writer, a comedian. You've written sketches for UCBT, the house sketch team. Mod,
Yeah.
Mod, they're
Mod-
right.
it's
Harold's are the improv. Mods are the sketches.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody was into that movie.
Like it could have
I
literally
don't
been
know.
any like blank and blank. It could have been Cops and Robertsons.
Yeah, yeah. I should really know why that's a thing.
That's all right.
Did Del Close just love Harold and Maude?
Probably.
I'm gonna
That's
assume
probably exactly
it
what
was.
it is.
Isn't somebody playing Del Close in a movie soon?
They are making some kind of improv movie.
Mike Myers is playing Del Close. I
Really?
believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I read that
could
very
see that.
recently.
You're going to just do Dr. Evil's voice for Del Close?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. We're doing some improv today. Is that good? I don't think
I
it
mean,
was
I
good.
buy it.
Yeah.
I've never
I don't
heard the
know.
guy
It was-
speak, actually.
It was a little
You ever
tinny.
heard regular Mike Myers speak
No,
or
no,
Del
no,
Close?
not
Oh,
Del
okay.
Close. Del Close. There's a couple documentaries. There's
Yeah.
one documentary called "Thank You, Del Close" that they only screen at DCM.
Uh-huh.
And
Del
if you-
Close Marathon.
Yeah, if you miss it, you can't.
You are shit out of
there's
luck.
and there's so many other awesome things going on that
Yeah,
weekend. You're
right,
like, I'm
right.
going to sit in a theater
And watch a documentary about improv. But yeah, so
yeah.
you're an improv writer and a sketch writer.
For Archnemesis, right? Mm-hmm. Is the name of the group.
Archnemesis.
I
Great name.
believe we have a clip, and I'm going to do my famous figure out where it is on my computer.
This classic bit where Jack can't get audio to work right.
Let's see here. By the way, Bulk and Skull theme still stuck in my head. Greatest theme. I'll never get it queued up on time.
No, never.
But I will get this sketch queued up on time. So what's going on here is this is a sketch you wrote, right?
Yep.
You're not in it. And it's about some employees who don't actually know what they do for a living.
Yes.
Okay.
right,
Is that, we
let's-
don't need any
Yeah,
other
they're at the
setup.
beginning of the meeting. One of them's just like, "Hey, what do we do here?" And then chaos ensues.
Okay, let's hear.
That's my favorite verb for chaos to do.
I love it.
Is to unsue.
Chaos reigns, I like too.
I like it when it's just taking it easy. Is that a verb? Or is that...
Just chaos
Chaos
swims.
takes it easy. That sounds like a movie. But
Chaos
let's go.
goes to the beach.
So chaos is earnest.
Chaos takes it easy. Sounds like
Chaos scared stupid.
Sounds like like an 80s
Yeah.
comedy.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
All right, here's the clip.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washburn. Good afternoon, Mr. Washburn.
Mr. Washburn.
I heard you guys are in here trying to figure out what we do here?
Yes, sir, we are.
I'm gonna need the answer on my desk by 3 o'clock. Damn it! No! Okay, focus it up. So we make something. Yes. Okay. Or we buy something. We buy something. Or we sell something. Or we are a law firm.
I see. I like that because I can relate because I've worked at plenty of places where we didn't know what we did. Turned out we were law firms.
Yeah, right. There you go. most laws don't know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis.
And then they run for office.
And then they run for office.
In addition to writing and sometimes performing, right? You also do props. Prop master. Prop. What's the term? Best prop grip.
I actually was just interviewed for an article on mental floss.
Check that
very
out.
cool.
And they call me a prop professional because I was a prop master on Orange is the New Black. I was the on-set prop master, but now I'm working as a set decorator on Mr. Robot, so it's hard to
So
say. It's
you're
sort of
allowed
an
to mix there? That's not like you don't have other set decorators?
No,
Look at this
'cause-
prop girl taking my my job. That doesn't have... Does that
Would you
happen?
say it's a proper thing to do? Should I leave? Should I
You
just
can't.
leave
You're
now?
all wired up.
I am on. Yeah,
We're stuck
I
in-
cannot leave. I have been chained to the studio floor.
You physically become part of the podcast, like the villain, the woman in Superman 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, actually, I asked because my girlfriend right now is on set doing art direction, but she is a costume designer, and she couldn't get any work this month as a costume designer, so she took art direction, which she loves. But I was like, oh man, I hope the other art people are going to be look at this scab.
I mean, there's definitely a difference between what you're allowed to do and what people will judge you for. Like, you're allowed to do things, and they might
Yeah.
judge you for them, but they can go to hell.
I just imagine like the other prop directors or prop masters come up and they're like, "Oh, it's a proper prop you've got here. Be a
Yeah,
shame if
they're
something
all-
happened to this."
So the proper pun didn't work, so you figured you'd double down.
Yeah, I figured I'd double down on a Cockney
They're all from
organized
Snatch.
crime thing. Yeah.
I would love to see you just like in the middle of a scene, just walk up and replace the director. Like, I've got this.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
start telling the actors what to do.
I mean, I feel like I've done that before.
By the way, prop professional, that makes sense. I would just say professional.
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 You criticize me, but professional is the best you got.
Well, all I did was take out a syllable.
Yeah, I
you
see
had,
what
you
you
had
did.
to add a whole pun thing. I don't know what was going on.
It was a very
there.
proper pun.
We're all wrong. This is
We're
a
all
terrible
wrong.
podcast,
You're
and
right.
you shouldn't listen.
You should not be listening.
They're all stuck. They're all wired to it. They're,
Their hands are just.
You guys don't realize it. We're in your headphones, like wiring to your brain right now. You cannot escape us.
It's a complicated algorithm
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
programmed. So you said you did Orange is the New Black, and you've
Yep.
done Mr. Robot. What else
Yep.
have we done?
I worked on Girls.
Oh, nice.
That's a show that people know.
People know that one, yeah?
Yeah.
Just ended?
Yeah.
Recently
it just
wrapped?
Finished. I didn't work on the last season, but
Okay.
I worked on it. Broad City, that was a fun show to work on. People know
that's
about
awesome.
that
Yeah.
show.
Very
cool,
I worked
very
on
cool.
Delocated. I don't know if your viewers
Oh, yeah,
are
of course.
Adult Swim
Is that,
fans.
John
Watchers.
Glazer?
John Glazer's
Listeners.
show, yeah.
Listeners, there's no visual.
Oh, they watch us. They're
watching.
we asked them not to, but
There are cameras there, and there, and they are
God.
watching at all times.
brush my hair. I also worked on my first union job was called Hellbenders 3D.
that's awesome.
Now, what is Hellbenders 3D?
Still haven't seen it, but it was my first union job. I was really excited to work on this.
Sure.
It was called an ultra low budget contract.
Okay.
Which means every single department member got the same amount of money to work on it.
Okay.
And it was like very, very, very low
Communist.
budget.
Egalitarian.
Yes, it was weird. And but it was a 3D film. A group of exorcists living together. They're exorcists, priests, and so the premise is they all have to be living a life of sin, so that if they die at any moment, they would go directly to hell.
Oh, wow.
Got
Because
it.
when they do the exorcisms, they take the demon directly to hell personally. Like
That's
a personal
awesome.
bouncer.
Yeah.
So they're all like drinking and swearing and fornicating, formulating.
They're all formulating.
formulating new ways to fornicate.
Exactly,
Like, guys,
yeah.
I've got this new diagram.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm,
That's
looking,
a great
I'm looking
idea.
it up on IMDb. Clancy Brown was in
Yeah,
it.
a lot of
I
people.
fucking
Clancy
love
Brown was
Clancy
like,
Brown.
Clancy Brown was like, I spent a lot of time with Clancy Brown, and there was
Yeah?
definitely like it was my first job, so I was really excited to do everything right. And there was he had to wear this like crucifix cross on his and
Sure.
T. It's a T.
Yeah, it's a T.
It's
He had to
a
wear
lowercase T.
he had to wear this silver T. I don't
Okay,
get
yeah,
it.
sure,
I don't
sure.
know. And
Makes sense.
I would always be like fixing it and like making sure the chain was pointed the right direction because he'd be doing a lot of fighting. And there was definitely one time where like I was fixing it on his neck, and he's about like 3 feet taller than me, and I just remember fixing it, and him just like leaning on me like, "This doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm doing."
That's
That's what you want on
amazing.
your first gig. You want the lead actor to tell
Yeah.
you that your entire job is completely pointless and meaningless.
And I remember being like, yes, I know, but I just still want to do it. Like I answered him. Like I was like, yeah, I know. I understand.
I mean, he is the Kurgan. You don't want to upset him. There can be only one.
Of all the shows, like all these like critically acclaimed shows you worked on, you've got like a really strong pedigree. I think working with Clancy Brown, even if he was a dick, is just like the coolest thing ever.
It was
I'm
he
impressed.
wasn't a dick. He was just that was his thing. Like he was being honest. It really didn't matter.
Yeah.
What
He was
doing.
in character as a priest who sins,
Yeah.
who has no time
Yeah.
to straighten his cross.
Doesn't have time. It didn't. There was,
I love it. That's awesome.
There were some other people that worked on that.
Clifton
too.
Collins Jr.
Yeah.
was
Oh,
in it.
I love him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was really cool.
Andre
he was
Royo
great.
from The Wire was
Andre
in it?
Royo was amazing.
That's awesome.
I didn't
This was ultra
actually,
low budget?
Yeah, it was ultra low budget. I had not watched The Wire yet.
I still haven't seen The Wire. I know.
So
I need
and
to
then I
watch
got
that.
into it years later, and I remember being like, fuck. Like, I mean, it was, in retrospect, it was probably good that I didn't know who he was at
So
the
you're
time.
not freaking out.
Yeah, but like, then afterwards, I was like, I didn't appreciate it at the
Yeah.
time. Like, I didn't.
Makes you wistful.
The Wire is in one of these weird. I have like a whole category of pedigree shows where I finally started watching in between their penultimate and last seasons, and then I finally got. So I got to watch one season like everybody else, like week to week. But
Yeah.
but for the most part, I don't know why that always happens with me. Happened with Leftovers. Happened with
Catch
The
up.
Wire.
Yeah,
But you
for
watched
the last
it.
season.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I bought it on DVD, and I always wanted to rewatch it. But first, I wanted to read the books that it was based on, and I wanted to read Homicide. And
You got
and so-
a real problem with completionism,
I
Jack.
know,
Jesus.
I know. Anyway, that's listen.
Yeah.
To
First, I
listen,
had to meet David Simon and find out where he was born.
pretty much. First, I had to get addicted to heroin.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
I really
Gotta
wanted
Yeah,
to
you
get
had
in
to
that
have
life on the
full
streets.
experience of it.
I know, I
Absolutely.
stole so much copper wire that year. It was the summer of 2007.
That's why I can't invite you to parties anymore.
I
No.
steal all the copper wire.
Like you're like the Hamburglar, like but for copper wire.
Everyone's like, he looks so
Gotta buy
clean,
drugs.
but you can't trust him.
I apologize to anybody who I've ever stolen copper wire from,
Yes.
which is pretty much everybody I've ever who's let me into their homes.
And now, since you had all this copper wire, you used it to bind me to the studio, and I
yeah,
cannot
no,
leave.
it's-
Those
He
are
also
the
makes some
wires.
beautiful copper wire jewelry on
You do,
Etsy.
yeah, on Etsy.
I make a lot of teas, lowercase teas for people.
Yeah.
Yep.
With copper.
Clancy Brown, if you're interested.
Why does this matter? It doesn't matter.
All right, so this is awesome. That's very cool. I think I'm gonna have to watch Hellbenders. Maybe not in 3D because I don't have a 3D
why
television.
do you have that cast and such a cool idea? Why was it ultra low budget?
I think,
They just couldn't raise the funds.
I mean, it was a weird idea. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a horror movie. I think
they should.
those.
This was
I mean,
before
it got.
Blum, Jason Blum, right?
Also, sometimes
Blumhouse.
I think you want to make an ultra low budget contract because this is like a boring like film producer-y conversation, but once you get to a certain budget level, your budget expands. So like if you keep things small, you can focus on the things that you want. I'm like advocating against my profession right now. This is like bad, but like
pay me less.
from a creative standpoint, if you're a director or producer, it might actually make more sense for your project. Maybe you don't want to make it a big budget. If you can get it done, and
Yeah.
they did, you know, I don't know
Yeah,
what the
that
finished
makes
product
sense.
is.
Well, hopefully it made money.
We disagree.
Sounds
We
cool.
plated our studio in solid gold.
Yeah, well, obviously.
with some copper trimmings.
We
some
got to
copper-
show our guests the money. They
Yeah.
got to know right up front that we got money to
No,
spend.
and obviously people who have watched us on Periscope and seen set photos, we have painted over the solid gold with some very cheap latex paint.
Right,
but
because
it's there.
It's just to hide it from the bad guys.
Yeah,
you know, we don't want to be too gaudy.
yeah, no, it's reverse gold plating. Everybody does it.
Always money in the podcast studio.
What is this podcast about? Which one are we doing?
Oh, this is 90s Percentile, where we talk about 90s topics. So if you are a listener of this show, you can submit a 90s topic in a random topic generator at 90spercentile.com or wepodcast.com.
Or you can always sign up for one of our Patreon tiers where you get to
That's true.
fast track your 90s percentile episode.
Patreon.com/WeStudios. But, Joanna, you are our guest today. As you may or may not know, it is your right to choose the first 90s topic to talk about. It could be Clancy Brown. He's a fairly 90s character.
Do
It's
it.
true.
But you can choose a topic, or we can go right into the random topic generator. What do you want to do?
I have prepared nothing.
Prepared nothing.
I am going in
love
100% blank.
This is
All
very
right.
Harold of you. This
Yeah.
is so not Maud.
So Harold of me.
You're an improver.
Not Maud.
Classic Harold. All right, great. So in the random topic generator, here we go. From Grant Prusy.
Thank you,
this
Grant.
This is a relevant one for this time. The topic is Lost Highway,
Oh, wow.
the David Lynch
yeah.
film, of which I've only seen half.
I've been planning on watching that at some point.
So you haven't seen it at all.
And
Joanna,
I
have you seen this one?
have not seen it.
Okay, so you have. So, okay, hang on. So neither of you have seen it. I saw half of it and then fell asleep and then had to return it to Netflix.
All right, you described
This
the
was
first
years
half
ago.
to Joe and I, and then we
Yeah,
will
we'll
we will
invent the
figure
rest.
out what the second half was.
So I saw this movie, the first half of it, probably 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, so it's fresh in your
Fresh
brain.
in my mind. I remember a videotape shows up on someone's doorstep.
Are you
doorstep.
describing
Is it
how
the-
you physically got the movie
Yeah.
Lost Highway to watch it?
Ironically enough, yes. But then in the movie, that's also what
okay,
happens.
okay.
It's like The Ring. But I remember it was like an OJ kind of story where like someone kills somebody and then there's like video evidence of it. And I think
Classic
there was
OJ.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, he did kill 2 people that we know of.
Yeah, we personally know.
That we
yeah.
personally- I really liked-
Rest in peace, Ron.
Yeah, it was sad.
We miss you, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I remember from Lost Highway. Bill Pullman is in it,
Okay.
I think.
Are you asking or are you telling us?
half
It
both.
sounds plausible.
I'm looking it up also. It did come out in 1997,
For
so it
those
is a
who
very
don't
90s
know,
topic.
David Lynch directed it, right, and wrote it.
Yeah.
David Lynch, if you don't know for whatever reason, he's mainstream for whatever that's worth, but he's very avant-garde. Like he's one of the more popular avant-garde filmmakers.
To show you how avant-garde he is, here is the first sentence of the Wikipedia page for the film Lost Highway. It's a French-American film written and directed by David Lynch that stars Bill Pullman as a man convicted of murdering his wife, Patricia Arquette.
So OJ.
After which he inexplicably morphs into a young mechanic and begins leading a new life.
So OJ.
So OJ.
So OJ.
Yeah.
That last chapter of Made in America was fascinating.
This is
Yeah.
like reinventing himself. Like, yeah. As a man who steals his own sports memorabilia back.
Yeah. You know, he wanted to take his life back. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what
he
happened
needs
with
to take
OJ.
control back.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. It
it's
all comes down
very
to control. So David Lynch makes these very, very weird, surreal, absurdist movies.
That's-
Always
Yeah.
some dark humor in them. His famous ones, obviously, Elephant Man was, I guess, his earliest big movie.
That was his biggest, yeah.
But Blue Velvet is a famous example.
Love
and
Blue
then
Velvet.
especially,
Mulholland
in the
Mulholland
late,
Drive, love
I
it.
feel like he got weirder. So after Twin Peaks in 1990. He got really weird, and that was Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, and there was another one that's supposed to be super.
Inland Empire.
Yeah, that one's supposed to be.
I've never
that's-
seen that
that's
one. It's
supposed to
like
be
3 hours
super
long.
Lynch.
I have to
yeah.
admit
Yeah.
that I sometimes get Cronenberg and Lynch mixed
They're
up.
both
Sure.
named David. They're both
Both
David.
Davids.
Because he did Naked Lunch, right? Cronenberg did
Yes. Yeah.
Naked Lunch.
Which
Yeah.
I also fell asleep during. I fall asleep during a lot of movies, and I don't
And
believe I finished Naked
they're
Lunch.
both very sensual filmmakers,
Yeah.
but
Very
like in a
sensual
weird, yeah, but like in
filmmakers?
a weird
Yes, okay.
horror, like
Yeah, sensual
Well,
horror.
Yeah, I mean Cronenberg's big thing is body horror,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
The Fly,
Yeah.
which is a wonderful movie.
And Lynch is in body horror,
Lynch
but he
is-
has a lot of sexual, like
Psycho-
weird, yeah.
Psychosexual corruption in small towns and places you don't expect to find it. I mean, that's definitely Blue Velvet and Twin
So,
Peaks.
Yeah.
so where was the first? Where did the movie stop when you were watching it?
I remember
He kills
look,
his wife.
Was he a mechanic yet or no?
I don't
Was
think
he a
I ever
mechanic?
saw the mechanic stuff.
Okay,
I feel
so
like
let's
that's
start
the
there.
second half of the
so
movie.
he becomes a mechanic.
Yeah.
Is he?
Does he? I wonder if does he physically morph into a different
Does he
man?
go? It's morphin time. Mechanic. Mechanic who didn't kill his wife.
Like,
Tyrannosaurus.
really avant-garde.
Power Rangers got really.
Real dark when David Lynch took the reins.
I would love a
just like-
David Lynch
it's like
Power Rangers
white,
movie.
like blue collar Power Rangers.
Interestingly enough, I know this is taking us off our fun Power Rangers topic, but actual murderer Robert Blake was in Lost Highway.
Oh, hey,
So
alleged, right?
that's interesting.
Alleged murder?
Didn't he get convicted?
No, he's white. He got off.
Oh,
If we banned
I'm not
every
comfortable with that.
murderer from being in movies, I mean, where would we be?
Who hasn't killed their wife?
Who hasn't killed?
You're right. He was acquitted for murder.
Yeah, I
thought
know
he was
I'm right.
convicted. Oh well.
I don't say things unless I'm 100% sure.
I say literally anything at any
we
time.
know.
Bazinga!
So that's very OJ
Classic OJ.
That was what he
to get acquitted.
Yeah. Do you remember when Kato Kalin was on the stand, and he goes, "I heard 3 bazingas."
Yeah, right.
And then that's how they knew OJ was
OJ's classic catchphrase that The Big Bang Theory then co-opted.
All right, so he reinvents himself as a mechanic. He morphs.
Yeah, he morphs.
He's a blue collar Power Ranger.
Are you now trying to guess the plot of Lost Highway and what actually happens
that
in
was
the film?
not. That was the whole point of
Yeah, that was
we
the-
told you.
Is that I don't remember.
We literally described
We
this
set
15
this up
minutes
for
ago.
you.
I fell asleep during this podcast and I completely
Do you
forgot
have to
everything
send it
that
back to
happened.
Netflix now?
Yeah, sorry. Can we wrap this up? I have to get a new disc. I've been really waiting to watch Shanghai Nights.
I like that you bumped up Lost Highway above Shanghai Nights in your queue.
I gotta see Lost
Because
Highway.
I don't know about you guys, when I was on Netflix disc, I loaded it up with like all the prestige movies
Oh,
like
yeah,
Lost
all the
Highway, I wanted to
Criterion.
watch.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
then
things.
those shitty movies like Shanghai Nights immediately like
those jump up.
hit that top to queue
What's
button.
Shanghai Nights?
The
Shanghai
sequel
Nights
to
is the
Shanghai
sequel
Noon.
to Shanghai Noon, where they go to stop Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson go to Victorian England
Yeah,
as cowboys.
as cowboys.
And I never seen it actually.
I've never seen it either, and you know what? I don't think I ever am.
Do you remember when we saw Shanghai Noon?
I do. I love Shanghai Noon.
And we were in the
had
theater?
a wonderful time
It was
seeing Shanghai
just
Noon.
me and you.
Yeah,
and like
it was
in the
a preview
middle
screening.
of the movie, middle of this was a preview.
Yeah, it was the week before it actually came out.
Well, how did we see it?
It was like a sneak preview. It was
Oh.
like coming out next week, but
Oh,
there was
so
a
I was
couple of
ahead of the
sneak.
curve.
Oh, it was one of
That's
those
right.
things that you had to say that you were an industry affiliated to.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just select theaters had it like the Friday before it came out. Like I don't know, it was weird.
Well, anyway, we were watching it. Do you remember what I said in the middle of the movie?
Oh, Shanghai Noon.
But you can't
pretty
do
great.
that for the sequel.
No, it doesn't.
'Cause
It's a very poor plot.
Shanghai Nights, like High Nights. It's not a thing. There's no pun. It's just. Hey, it was first it was Shanghai Noon. We got to call it Shanghai something.
Yeah, they stuck to it.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
well,
Well, if you're doing a British Victorian Shanghai Noon sequel and you need to make it a pun, what do you do?
I don't know. I mean, the Shanghai Nights is so far removed because you had Shanghai High Noon, Western, Asian film culture, throw them together. That's a great
Oh,
pun title.
I got it. Bear with me here.
Oh, boy.
Shanghai afternoon tea. Right? Because that's British afternoon tea.
Yeah, Shanghai
So
afternoon tea.
Shanghai Nights, stupid title. Shanghai afternoon tea.
Let's see if we can top that. They never did. But anyway, Lost Highway. I don't know how we got started talking about Shanghai Nights. Oh, I used it as an example of a shitty movie. I don't know. I've seen most of David Lynch's movies. I've never finished seeing Lost Highway. I never saw Fire Walk with Me because I haven't finished watching Twin Peaks
Which
yet.
you should, because the new reboot is incredible.
And I've never seen Inland Empire. I think I've seen all of his other. Oh, I never saw Wild at Heart, which I hear is
So you've
really
never
good.
seen any of his work. You've
I
seen
think
like
I've-
two
I've seen
things.
all of his other things.
I think I've only seen
Elephant Man. I saw
Mulholland Drive.
Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Dune.
I haven't seen.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Dune.
I just forget about the Spice Merchants of Arrakis.
I totally forgot about Dune. That's Kyle
Yeah.
MacLachlan. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's their first collabo together.
Yeah, no, that's another pairing. Like, oh no, that was a conversation I was having with nobody here.
Nobody here.
No, we were talking about directors who
Directors
use
and
the
actors
same
who-
actors.
Yeah,
And
Johnny
so-
Depp, Tim Burton.
And like, I don't know. I was all right. I'll just say I was with some new film students. And, you would think that they were movie buffs. And I was like, yeah, it's like, we were talking about Johnny Depp and Tim Burton. I was like, yeah, it's like when a director works with an actor a lot. And people were like, they do that? Somebody said that. I was like,
What?
you're a film student, you never noticed that some directors have,
Oh,
like,
boy.
name another
They're like,
one.
wait a minute. So
don't know
directors
nothing.
make the movie?
I thought it was the prop master.
What's a director?
I thought the movies just happen.
So anyway, that was a conversation I had off air several days ago with nobody you know.
The Straight Story. That was the other David Lynch movie I couldn't think of that I've never seen. I guess I haven't seen
I haven't
more
seen
than half of his
a
films.
lot of-
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I've been
Blue
masquerading
Velvet.
in my own head as some kind of David Lynch.
Yeah.
Like, I get him. I get
Yeah,
it. I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
enough.
It's
I
weird.
get
He's
it.
a weirdo.
I like him a lot. I think I've seen
Yeah.
him talk.
He's a great
very
actor.
Great.
He's
Yeah.
he's very funny. He's in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
As Dale Agent Cooper's boss. He's also in Louis, the season finale
Oh, yeah.
of Louis. He plays the producer of David Letterman, who's like trying to get Louis to be a late night talk host.
Yeah, that was
he's
great.
so funny.
He was great there.
And he's in other things
Yeah, and other things.
and the rest.
and the
I
rest.
think he was in some Folgers commercials.
I could see that.
The best part of waking up.
It's transcendental meditation.
Damn right.
I love that commercial.
All
He's
right.
also the hand in the Country Crock Butter commercial.
Yes, little known fact. That's where he got his start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to say about Lost Highway. I do want to finish watching it one day.
Yeah. Here's what we'll do. We'll
yeah.
watch it.
All right.
at some point.
We'll do a sync points
And
for
then
it.
when Mulholland Drive or some other Lynch 90s movie comes up, we will rope in our thoughts on Lost Highway.
Well, Mulholland Drive is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 2000 or 2001.
Well, then if you put that in the random topic generator,
You are
a
a
terrible
fool.
fan. You are a terrible fan. Stop listening and unsubscribe from our Patreon, please.
But I love Mulholland Drive. I watched Mulholland Drive by
So
myself.
let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about
Yeah,
it now.
well, I mean, if we're not going to get a chance to later. Yeah, it came out in 2001. I loved it. As soon as I finished watching it, I wanted to start it again, just from the beginning, which
You like
I guess
it?
really
Yeah,
never
I liked
happened.
it. It very much scared me, that first part.
The thing behind Winkies.
I've never been more scared
Yeah,
by
that-
anything in my life.
I've watched that scene. Have you
Yeah.
seen Mulholland Drive, Jack?
I watched it once when it first came out on video,
Yeah.
and I hated it, and I've never watched it again.
Oh, it's an amazing movie.
It was like exposure therapy. I would watch it, just
Sure.
to try to not be scared. But for me, Mulholland Drive was like that. I don't remember it very well. I remember
Yeah.
liking it, but I
Yeah.
also remember I think I saw it twice maybe. Like once it was terrifying and weird and I hated it, and then once
Yeah.
again I was like, maybe I don't hate this. But it was like a terrifying thing happens and then two women have sex for like an hour.
Yep, two of my favorite things in Mulholland Drive.
Now, it definitely made me a Naomi Watts fan.
Totally.
No,
But
I spent. It was like a really hot summer day, and we had spent 3 hours in the sun. Me and friends of the show, Tom Whalen and Jeff Wallenick, and we were playing handball, and like we were super sweaty and exhausted. We're like, let's put on a movie. And we put on
not the ideal.
Yeah, so we all hated it. Tom, I know now, has seen it a million times, and he loves it. I have
Yeah.
a feeling if I watched it again, I would start. I would also learn to appreciate it.
Yeah, you should.
But
It's
because
really good.
that was the one time I watched it. I still technically I'm on record as hating it, even though I'm sure I don't.
Yeah, and it's got my boy Justin Theroux is in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's the best. I love him.
I feel like my tolerance for weird movies has just gone down ever
Yeah,
since
no.
I left
Really?
school. And I'm just
I love weird movies.
I'm like, talk down to me. you know?
Yeah, this happened to me with music. I used to be into like some really experimental and some like weird music, and even just like music that you wouldn't say is fun to listen to, like grindcore and mathcore and stuff.
Yeah.
And like now I'm just like, nah, just give me Taylor
give me
Swift.
pop, give me Katy Perry.
I don't have the energy. Just dumb lyrics. Okay, sure. Give me chain smokers like synthesized. Bam. Bop, 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 bop. And like that's it. That's all I need.
Is that the new
Yeah.
Chainsmokers? They dropped the new
that's
single?
every chain smokers.
Yeah, I mean, who else other than David Lynch even does weird movies?
Well, that's the thing.
David
I think
Cronenberg.
I guess David Cronenberg.
Yeah, David Cronenberg. I work on a lot of weird things. Like my friends make weird stuff. Like
Sure.
I feel like I sort of make weird stuff sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. It's like
I mean, he's the undisputed king. He's very good at it. You can't just make something weird for the sake of weird.
Yeah.
Yes, very true.
I actually took avant-garde filmmaking senior year in film school because I didn't want to take narrative, which is what most people took, because they made you shoot on film. And I didn't want to shoot on film. I wanted to shoot in video, which at the time was not very
Was
common.
crazy.
I mean, it looked terrible. So I took avant-garde filmmaking, and I had a very, very hard time coming up with a film because you would think it would be the easiest one to bullshit.
Right.
But I could poop out a narrative script in my sleep, but I couldn't come up with random images and and connect them and stuff. So it's very tough, and he's very good at it. I have recently, because the new Twin Peaks reboot, which is very, very good, people are saying this is pure Lynch. This is like he's finally just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of comparisons to Noah Hawley, who does Fargo and Legion. And a lot of people compared the TV show Legion to the closest thing to a David Lynch show that somebody else has done.
Yeah,
I'll throw that name out.
I haven't watched Legion yet, but I've also heard that he's like David Lynch light. Is what
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of who would other David Lynch type.
I mean, Cronenberg's actually a really good choice. There's got to be a third weird David. David the Gnome. That's who it is. David the Gnome's avant-garde films were really, really terrifying.
That was a very.
Let's just say that's the first David I thought of is
Yeah.
David the Gnome.
That was a lot of backstory that they didn't really. It was always there.
David the
between
Gnome, the
The
filmmaker.
1980s, 90s cartoon character,
Yeah.
voiced by Tom Bosley.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like experimental filmmakers don't get a lot of like. Is it just because we went to film school? Like, I don't know. Are there new avant-garde filmmakers now?
That are
I mean,
popular.
there
There's
must
nobody-
be. I feel like I've seen weird movies.
Yeah, there's weird movies, but they do seem to have stronger narratives than David. Like David Lynch is the king of just like throwing narrative right out the gate. Like most movies have a narrative and then have weird shit in them.
Sure.
Most experimental movies.
I feel like as a society we're really into narrative now. Like is that crazy? Like with TV, like with like peak TV, golden age of TV, like we're
Sure.
so in service of like storytelling and like it's got to be the best story. So like maybe we don't have any like as much of appreciation for like lyrical things
Yeah.
or visual stuff.
That's why
I think you're
Truly.
absolutely right. And like even just like social media, like everyone's telling a story of their own lives
Yeah.
constantly. So I feel like we're all
That's
obsessed
why I'm
with stories.
very excited about the fact that Twin Peaks is back and
Yeah.
even better than it was in 1990. And I highly suggest everybody watch it. You should watch the first 2 seasons to get what's going on. But it is unlike anything else on TV. Like there will be 25-minute sequences that just play. They're so slow and they take their time and they're exactly what you said. They're lyrical. It's not at all narrative and it's just so fun to watch. There's actually, I would say, one of the biggest mediums to take this to heart now, if everything is pro-narrative, like in this current time, video games. There are a couple of That Game Company. They make such really cool non-narrative. They have no interest in narrative, lyrical video games like Flower, where you literally play the wind. And
Yeah,
you blow
I played that one.
you blow petals off, and there's story there. You can tell if you look. It takes place in some kind of post-apocalypse where humans killed each other, and like it's basically about plant life taking back the earth. And then the best one is Journey, which is
I
right
played
after
that
that. And you're this mysterious entity in a robe, and you're traveling through the desert.
Oh, I wanted to play that. I saw
Oh,
that.
it is one of the most
was very
beautiful,
beautiful.
incredible experiences I've ever had. Apparently Facebook told me it was 7 years ago, which made me very sad.
It must be because I haven't played a video
yeah.
game in years and I played both of those.
It is. I suggest everybody somehow figure out how to just find. It takes about 2 hours
they
to
gotta
play
be on
that
the
game.
PlayStation Store.
Yeah, no,
sure
I
if
think
you have a
I think
PS4.
I saw it. I think I
is just-
downloaded it.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of the few times I played a video game and at the end I was just like shaken to my core. It's beautiful and it's haunting and it's basically about life, about aging and life and everything.
And then at the end, you turned into a mechanic.
You turn
Yep.
it. You
pretty
You
amazing.
murder your wife
yeah.
and then turn into a
yeah,
mechanic.
which was a great ending.
Beautiful.
very
Beautiful
lyrical,
ending.
very
Yeah.
lyrical,
Relatable.
beautiful.
You
Yeah,
know?
And then you summon
Yeah.
the mechanic Zord and you fight Goldar.
So, and I think with VR
With
and
your
stuff,
friends, the plumber and the mailman.
Yeah.
the famous mailman character,
Yeah.
yeah,
The famous mailman.
No, so I would argue, especially with VR becoming more prominent, video games might be your best source for non-narrative entertainment.
I think you are correct, at least until David Lynch makes another film.
Oh, I hope he does.
I hope he does too, but that was Lost Highway. Thank you, Grant, for that topic. Are you guys ready for another topic from the old Jenny? Oh,
Is that what we're calling
Jenny.
it, Jenny? I like that.
Oh, random topic, Jenny. So here's what we got. What?
And then Jenny's broken.
Okay, this one comes from Reinhold Boomer, and I do not know what it's in reference to.
Thank you, Reinhold.
So thank you, Reinhold. The topic is Raphael punching Hitler.
Raphael punching.
Is he
You
talking
mean
about the Ninja
teenage-
Turtle,
yeah,
Raphael?
obviously.
Was there ever a time that Raphael the Ninja Turtle punched Hitler?
Is this just like a wish list? These
I
like
mean-
things he wished happened in the 90s?
could be.
Captain America's punched
Captain America
Hitler, right?
definitely did it.
Superman might have punched Hitler at some point, right?
So
we-
okay, so it did happen because I
Oh.
googled it and the image came right up. So here you go. There's Raphael the Ninja Turtle punching Hitler,
Yeah, take that, Hitler.
and it makes a chalk sound. My guess is this is
What is he saying?
What's
For
Raphael
the
saying?
millions?
he's saying for the millions.
Oh, wow.
We're just looking at that one panel.
That's intense. I mean, if it was going to be
heavy.
one of the four turtles, of course it would be Raph to punch Hitler.
course.
Yeah.
Michelangelo
cool
would
but
probably just
rude.
like offer him a pizzas, bro.
Pizzas, bro, to bring everyone together.
Yeah, this is awkward.
I'm not really on board with all that stuff you did, but pizza.
He just like has a crippling social anxiety.
He just has to please everybody.
Yeah.
Man, I'd never even heard about this. This is amazing. So this was clearly in the one of
the
the
comics?
Ninja
This
Turtles
is the
comic
Image comics?
series. Not the originals, it doesn't look like. I don't think it's the original Eastman and Laird black and white comics, because it's in color. But yeah, this is a thing that happened. Raphael punched Hitler. It makes sense, I guess, because
It makes sense, I guess.
because
Hitler
Hitler
was bad.
Hitler was a giant garbage
Raphael
person.
was good.
Raphael's a hero, and they did time travel like all the time. The Turtles.
Did they?
One of the video games was Turtles in Time.
And one of the
Oh,
movies
yeah.
was
One of the
Turtles
movies
in
was
Time?
that they went back to the Shanghai Nights times.
One of I have a VHS Ninja Turtles Easter where they travel into the future and meet their old selves.
Here's an interesting tangent from the fact that this has actually happened. I'm on the villains Wikipedia page, like villains.wiki.com.
So this is a wiki just for all villains.
villains.
all villains. And
Zod, Hitler.
this page is,
Real ones, too?
is specifically Adolf Hitler, parentheses, TMNT.
Oh,
like
okay.
just the Hitler
Just-
from the
just-
Ninja
That's
Turtles
so
universe.
funny. Like Hitler has probably an IMDb page just
Yeah.
of all
Yeah.
the
He
times he's
might.
been
Self.
depicted. Yeah.
He has IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
He's actually 6'1".
So apparently the
He's
turtles.
He was roommate with Tommy Lee Jones, and
Apparently Hitler's brain was still alive after World War II and powered a time machine in a Hitler robot body.
is Krang Hitler?
And then the turtles had to travel back in time to stop Hitler before his brain could be saved. That's when Raphael punches him, and then I guess Hitler shoots himself in the bunker, and that's the end of it.
Wait. Hitler's brain powered a time machine?
That's what it seems like according to Villains Wikia.
They can't be wrong.
They can't be
So
wrong.
by
Unimpeachable.
punching him, he caused some kind of contusion, some kind of brain damage that
yeah.
it broke the connection to the time
Wait a minute.
travel
it gets
USB
crazier,
port.
guys. Leonardo convinces Hitler that Hitler is in hell and that they are demons who have come for his brain.
Why wasn't this in the new Michael Bay produced?
This totally should have been an Out of the Shadows, the new Ninja Turtles movie. It would have done a lot better.
what were they planning
have
with that
no
story?
idea.
Like, did they think that he would just be like, "Oh, okay, here's my brain"?
I
have
don't
it now.
know who thought this was a good idea or it's kind of a great idea.
Do you so? There's lots of stories like this. Obviously, Captain America and punching Hitler. This Doctor Who did a Let's Kill Hitler.
Right, but Captain America punched Hitler in the time that Hitler was
So
still around.
Besides that, do you think that this is a good cathartic way to like take out this horrible monster, or do you think it normalizes a little bit? Like it's just like, well, you know, he did these awful atrocities. He almost took over all of Europe. He killed millions and millions of people. He based people, you know, he was killing people based on
Right. Tried to wipe out the
yeah,
Jews.
Exactly. Yeah, Jews, gays, everything. He's just a terrible person.
Yeah.
Let's sack him one. Let's give
It's
him
a
an
very American way of dealing with
But
it.
is it
That's true.
Is it almost, I don't know, like
I think I see what you're saying. Like by going to the Hitler well so often as
Yeah.
like holding him up as like history's bad guy.
Yeah.
It dilutes like the horrors of what he actually did.
right? And
like,
obviously,
Hitler being a joke.
cards on the table. I'm saying this as the oft-running joke at We Studios that I hate that people keep bringing up. I accidentally called Hitler a great man on Canadian National Radio.
It's true. Not great in the pejorative sense.
And I've become very uncomfortable with people referencing that repeatedly
Right.
for two reasons. for two reasons.
Air your grievances,
because
Jack.
it puts you in the same boat as Sean Spicer.
That for three reasons.
yeah.
That. The SEO, I don't like it.
Sure.
Eventually, people are going to Google Adolf Hitler, and my name is going to start coming up, and it's just going to say, "quote great man." ... You know, like, and three, by making this joke about this, you know, this thing I said that was, you know, we've explained it many times that I wasn't calling him a great man.
Right.
I think it normalizes it. I think by making Hitler jokes, like, Jack's gonna talk about Hitler again. It's just like I don't like making him a pie in the face.
Okay, two things. One, I agree with you, but I remember hearing Mel Brooks, I think, say like, no, he should be the biggest joke of all time after what he did. That's why he had like Springtime for Hitler
Right.
and the producers and things like that. And my second point, I Googled Jack Picone Hitler.
Oh, come on.
Apparently, the photographer
Yeah,
Jack
the
Picone, the famous Jack Picone,
more famous Jack
the
Picone.
Wikipedia Jack Picone, did something about Adolf Hitler, like some kind of
I had a
documentary.
Wikipedia at one point.
He did some kind of documentary on Hitler, so I think you're safe.
Okay.
But if you scroll down,
Oh no.
the sixth result is 90s Percentile episode number 55.
Jack calls Hitler a great man.
Actually, the quote is, "I never imagined that banging Hitler's skeleton could feel this good." It's actually our Reddit page. Someone on Reddit said that. I don't recall you saying
I don't think
that.
I've ever said that.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
We
Yeah.
can
I
try
don't
and,
want to normalize having sex
we
with
can
Hitler's
try and
skeleton.
remove those search results if you're uncomfortable with them.
No, and again, a big part. The reason I can take a joke, and I know our listeners know full well that I'm not
you can
anti-Semitic.
You can take a joke like Hitler can take a punch.
Yeah, but I'm a fear normalizing him, and I agree with Mel Brooks in that making him a big joke is a way to, you know, like I hope that happens to Trump. I hope like 100 years from now, Trump is just a huge fucking
I
joke.
think the things that we're afraid of and the things that are painful to us, we have no control over our feelings, and we have no control over, like, in a way, we have no control over our thoughts. And so painful things happen, and humor is the only way, one of the only ways you can assert control over it. And so, you know, like, I wrote a bunch of things about ISIS recently, and I feel really weird about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is really dark thing we don't talk about, we don't joke about. It's this like terrorizing force in the world. But part of me was just sort of like, it hurt so bad that I needed to. And then
you
part
feel
of
the
it
need
is
to do
silly.
something.
Yeah,
You have your
I had
pen.
to make it.
Yeah.
I had to highlight how ridiculous part of it is, because part of this like terrorism and like these it's some of it's sort of like this silly macho masculinity in folding in on itself, and I was like, that's kind of funny. It's horrible when it affects people in violence, but then when you think, what are those guys just doing like when they're not plotting stuff? Just imagining them just like brushing their
around,
teeth and like
taking a shit,
arguing whose turn is it to buy more toilet paper.
It takes their power away almost.
Yeah.
See, so I actually just had this conversation a week ago because I obviously have made pretty offensive jokes on this podcast and the other podcasts, and I offended somebody the other day. We were out drinking. I made a cancer joke, and I was trying to defend myself, and I say, look, first of all, I have very, very dry sense of humor. A lot of people can't tell when we're doing a bit and when I'm actually literally just talking.
Right.
So that doesn't help. But really, basically, I've gotten very good at compartmentalizing. I have a lot of pain. I have a lot of things that really hurt me, and they hurt really bad to the point where I'm crippled. I'm paralyzed. So what I've learned to do is you take that, you put it over there. It's 3 feet away, and because it's over there, I can make the worst jokes about it. I can make jokes about a dead relative at a funeral because, like, we all know. I'm joking, and the actual feelings, the actual pain's right over here.
And the humor helps you cope,
right.
like Joanna was saying.
So, yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. Here's the thing. ISIS does affect us personally here in America. Hopefully it doesn't more often. I'm not Jewish. I'm part German, so like Mel Brooks saying that about Hitler makes sense. He's not only is he Jewish, but he's from that generation. He lost relatives.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's okay for me to make Hitler jokes and normalize because I don't have that personal connection to that pain I have that I draw from for my humor.
Yeah.
None of that really came from Hitler, at least not nearly as affected a lot of the ways most people. Not most people, but a lot of people.
I guess we do use Hitler as like he's the worst
I
guy,
know,
and it's sort of become kind of
He's-
meaningless now because like Obama is Hitler and Trump is Hitler and all these people are Hitler, and it's like, well, he's the baddest guy because he did the worst thing.
Pull quote from Joanna from this episode: Obama is Hitler. Interesting. Interesting.
That's
Very
gonna be the blurb we use on Twitter.
Oh, way to boost my Google.
Hashtag Obama is Hitler.
This is.
We started talking about Alex Jones. We were ending there.
Hashtag Hitler's a great man.
This is a much deeper conversation. I like it than I thought we would have from the Raphael, the Ninja Turtle punching Hitler.
And now I feel like really gross. I just said Obama's Hitler. Now we're in movie.
And that's our show, everybody. Sorry. What have we learned today? I learned that Obama is Hitler.
We're all very clear that you are joking.
What I was kind of going to say, I guess like I am Jewish, so I'm going to give you my blessing. No, because like. I
Problem
saw
solved.
Inglourious Bastards like at the end of that movie. I guess I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but there's
10 years old.
Okay,
Yeah, skip ahead if you need it.
I was laughing hysterically in the theater, and I was like one of the only people, and I felt like a psycho. But I was like, as that like climactic end scene was happening, I thought it was like very
cathartic. Yes.
It was fucking hilarious because it was so jokey, like so over the top. The violence was hilarious to me, and I don't know, like if I don't know what
that works so well too, because the whole time you're thinking like, well, Hitler lives, so whatever the whole plot of the movie is that they're going to kill Hitler. They're not going to win.
Yeah,
you really don't think they're going to win, and then it was such a pleasant surprise.
It was just great. It's just nice, like. I think I have we could have a whole longer conversation about Tarantino, but in general, I think he has like a kind of he shows this great morality in his films, like the people he chooses to live and die and why they live or die.
Sure.
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Hitler was a monster.
Yeah,
and
let's
obviously
be clear. Obama is not Hitler.
Obama is certainly not Hitler.
Love the guy.
Trump is not Hitler.
Trump is also not Hitler.
Because I said I want him to be a joke, and I really do, because his whole thing is his ego and his reputation. So he won. So far, everything he's ever wanted, he's gotten. He's president. He's going to be in the Hall of Presidents. He has won, no matter what
They're
we
trying
say.
not to put him in the Hall of Presidents.
I know, but no matter what we say, no matter what we do, he has so far won everything. And
Right.
the best way we can finally make him lose is if, like, 50 years from now, he is just such a fucking joke that people just laugh, like, oh, that fucking clown. Like, when
Yeah.
we do it now, it doesn't matter. Half the country doesn't agree with us.
Right.
But, I hope so
I
bad.
think
the
history
name-
will be on the right side
I
on that
know.
one.
I hope so. I hope so. And that's even better than him being Hitler. Hitler is an evil, awful person. I want Trump
Right.
to be a fucking joke and a fucking clown. Like, oops,
Yeah.
I Trump myself. I
No,
took
no,
a
give
Trump.
him a chance.
But you don't say you took a Hitler these days.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be
see.
that.
I see what you're
Just
saying.
give him a chance.
Yeah, just
Come
give-
on.
let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Surprisingly deep conversation, like I said. But thank you, Reinhold, for that suggestion. Raphael
Thanks,
punching
Reinhold.
Hitler.
Raphael punching Hitler.
I love it. That was
My
deep.
everybody's
That was
favorite
good.
turtle.
We got deep, guys. All right, so here we go with another topic. This one comes from Mackie C.
Mackie C. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Mackie.
Mac. Mackie the knife.
And I love this. The topic is properly formatted. The topic is Richie Rich. And
With
he
the
put
dollar
set
sign.
signs for both of the C's.
Okay, so this reminds me of Stalin, and I want to get into a deep
Well, Richie Rich did have the means of production.
He's actually Casper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm assuming since it's a 90s topic, he's talking about Richie Rich, the movie, which was the Macaulay Culkin
Culkin gets
John
hit by a
Larroquette
car.
vehicle.
Right?
Is that
Doesn't
what
he get hit by a car and then he? No, that's Blank Check. That's
Oh,
different.
yeah. No, that was a different movie.
I know his parents wasn't his parents in that play. The dad was played by the guy from Lost Boys.
I'm looking it up. You mean, he died. Edward Herman
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
from Gilmore Girls. Yeah.
Yes. I think he played the dad.
I
They
think
were,
you
like,
might be
stranded
right.
on
I'm
an
looking it
island.
up real quick.
I've never actually watched the movie.
I have. It's not good. You're right. It was Edward Herman. Also, Michael McShane from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And
He
Office
died,
Space.
didn't he?
No, I think he's still alive. Is he still alive?
I always, for whatever reason,
He is still alive.
Yeah,
Wikipedia does not know how old he is.
I
though.
get him mixed up with the stepdad from Harry Potter, the guy that raised Harry Potter.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're both
He
fat
died.
and white, but
Richard,
that's
I
it.
forget.
I don't know why I combine. I always get them confused.
Yeah, that guy was in Withnell and I,
Richard
which is a great movie.
Jeffries,
Something like that.
Something like that. Rest in peace.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. They made a Richie Rich movie in 1994, and it's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, this was Macaulay Culkin was at his height.
At his zenith.
So where did Richie Rich come from? That was a comic. He was a comic.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
a Harvey
character.
Comics character, along
Yeah.
with Casper, and I think those are the two
Real
most
toothless,
famous
like,
ones.
young kitty.
kid friendly, a little like, oh, I sat in a puddle. That kind of
But what was Richie Rich's thing? It was like, I'm rich, but I'm a kid.
That's exactly it. He's a kid who's rich, and that is literally it. If we want to get his backstory, let me look up Richie Rich from the comics.
I kind of like
They
the
were really-
idea. It's like I just want to talk about how I'm this progressive guy, and I'm not anti-Semitic, and I'm not biased. I do have this chip on my shoulder against rich people. If you're rich, I automatically judge you, and you have to, earn my respect.
I think that makes you the most progressive in the current climate.
I guess so.
That's the definition of progressive.
It's mostly bitter jealousy.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of, because I can't stand when people are like, oh, like being rich is hard, and we have emotional problems too. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but you can afford help.
But here's the thing with Richie Rich.
That's
is
a great idea.
He's super nice. Like
Yeah.
he gives his money away, and he has like poor friends that he throws pity on and
So
gives
that's
them a
what I'm saying.
pittance.
It's an interesting archetype you don't see often.
It
The
is.
young, rich.
His
When-
moniker is the poor little rich boy.
When was Richie Rich the comic?
Richie
started?
Rich was created in 1953.
I was going to say October 1929.
It was actually September of 1953.
Yeah, right before.
Yeah. This is gonna
They
do
had
great.
no idea what they were looking at.
This is perfect for the roaring 20s.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about Richie Rich. The movie, like I said, has John Larroquette in it. That's the
So,
thing.
okay.
He was the bad guy. I remember he was trying to steal Richie Rich's money.
What? Because his parents were gone. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if did his parents die?
They were stranded on an island, I believe, presumed dead.
Yes, I
So
think you're
wait
right.
a minute. Richie Rich is rich, and his parents die, and he has the gall to not become a superhero,
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
true.
You got all that money. You get a Batmobile.
and he's just
Yeah.
gonna buy toys and lend toys to his friends, and that's his deal.
Yeah.
How about some food? How about buying them some food? They don't
Yeah,
want toys.
get him some food.
So his last name is also Rich? Is that...
Yes, and do you know what his middle name is? You guys can guess at this.
Wealth,
That's what I was thinking.
Well, that's a good guess. Is that also your guess as well?
coins.
Richard W.
You're on
Rich.
you're on the right track.
Dollar. Cash.
His middle name is a dollar sign. Just
It's just a dollar sign. So it's-
Richie Cha-ching Rich. That's it.
Who's his dad? ASAP Rocky?
It was Edward Herman.
It's
in the
ASAP Rocky
film.
and Kesha.
They should have a baby and name him Richie Rich with
Just
dollar
name him
signs.
$.
Actually, his father is Richard Rich Sr.
Do you think he
So there
would?
you go.
Do you think he'd have those contact lenses you can buy with dollar signs in them?
Absolutely,
Do you think
he
there's
would.
been a child born yet that's been named an emoji?
Oh,
Ooh.
man. Probably.
I hope not poop emoji. I hope they. I hope you.
You're
She's like,
damning
well,
that
honey,
kid.
that's the first thing you did when you came into this
Oh,
world. So.
no.
Your name is an emoji. Yeah, I mean, there's some weird names out there, right? Like .coms and stuff.
Someone legally changed their name to something. There was like an eBay auction for a guy to change his name to some website.
I remember I read like
And I don't even remember what
Go,
it is.
Daddy.
So good money spent on that guy.
I mean, I remember reading an article where like literally the government, I don't know if it was America, it might have been Germany. The government was like, no, this is not approved. You can't name your kid this ridiculous name. And it was like
Adolf.
weird, like symbols and .coms and stuff.
Symbols and .coms.
I bet you
think-
hashtag could be a name, like hashtag trending. Hashtag trending Smith.
Oh, man. What is your
Oh, by the way.
president hashtag?
By the way, so we have a keypad in my building to use the elevator. You have to hit some numbers, and then it goes up to the right floor.
That's how elevators work.
So yeah, so you hit it's like no. So it's
don't
like a lock.
understand.
It's like a lock.
Oh.
Like you need to know the code. You can't just hit
Oh,
the
I
12th
see.
floor. You have to hit in the code, and it's 4 digits, and then you hit the pound sign.
You're not talking about where We Studios is. I understand what you're saying.
right,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
I
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I was like, I call bullshit on this because I rode the
Yeah, I didn't-
elevator.
I
So,
didn't
so
have
you
this.
go in the elevator, you press the numbers, and you press the pound sign, and we tell
Yeah.
our new students this, and they don't know what a pound sign is. We have to say
Say
hashtag,
hashtag.
because I guess you don't have a touch-tone phones anymore, and there is a hashtag on your keypad on your smartphones. But
Sure.
what do you use it for? Nobody's. What you would use it for? Like automated, like press 1 and press pound sign for English.
Yeah.
So, but like they really don't know what a pound sign is.
That's so weird.
Isn't that crazy? Like you have to
Yeah.
call it a hashtag.
I'm now looking at the Wikipedia page for number sign, which is the official Wikipedia name for it.
Right.
And it just says number sign, hash, or pound sign.
Yeah.
Those are the
I
official
mean,
names, I
I'll
guess.
go more into detail with this once after I finish my book, Shady Characters: A History of all typography, like the characters above the numbers on the keyboard. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm still working on my
Oh, for a
Vanderbilt
second,
biography.
I thought you were making a joke. You're like, I'll go more into this once I finish my book. Jack yells at the sky at different things
But the
that I'm
book I'm
angry
writing,
at.
yeah. But anyway, I just that's old man corner. Kids these
Yep.
days they call
There should be
pound
music
signs
for
hashtags.
Old Man Corner. You know,
Did you say something?
it comes from like a Victrola. It's like
It plays Sublime.
from a
It
Victrola.
plays early '90s.
Oh, God. Whoa.
Somebody's coming.
Someone's foot fell off.
That's where I put that. Delightful.
All right, that
I don't
was-
have anything else to say about Richie Rich, but I think we can cram in another topic if
Yeah,
you
I think
guys
so,
are
for sure.
amenable to that.
All right, Jenny, what do you got?
It's gonna be one thing that we've all seen.
Here we go. This
No.
topic comes from Steve. This is the topic. Where's the money, Lebowski?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. So, I don't think this is about Big Lebowski in general.
Nope.
I don't think it's about
We
Peter
don't care.
Stormare.
We still want some money, Lebowski.
I think this is a topic about nihilists.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
we could talk about nihilism.
We believe in nothing.
We've
I
been
mean,
even
it's-
nothing.
so- It's just gonna be us
let's
quoting
give some
Lebowski.
context to the listeners who have no idea what we're talking about.
Sure.
Nobody.
That's
That's
probably pretty few
nobody.
people. Once you say Lebowski, people at least know the movie, even if they haven't seen it.
That's very presumptuous of you.
It's The Big Lebowski. It came out in 1998. It's a Coen Brothers film. They are my favorite
It does
directors.
not hold the cachet you would. Again, and this is a perk of working at a film school. I kind of see what people who were us 15 years ago are into.
Yeah.
Big Lebowski is not. It's still popular, but it's not like this universal. It's not Ghostbusters. It's not like everybody who's born today is going to watch like Big Lebowski and recognize how great it is. It is not. It's not that anymore.
I get. Well,
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
I guess. I mean,
like film students do not give a shit about it.
it's Big Lebowski's weird because the Coen brothers are kind of like artsy directors. You know, I would put them in a like a high directing tier. They're my favorite directors.
One's
period,
artsy,
but
one's fartsy.
that's true, and that's why they get along so well. That and the fact that they're brothers. But also, I feel like Big Lebowski was a failure because it was their film after Fargo, which was, to that point, their biggest commercial and critical success. And
And a
then
lot of people still consider their best movie.
Fargo?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's up
Fargo's
for debate,
fucking
but that's,
fantastic.
if you were if you did a general consensus of what the best movie, that might have the plurality.
Yeah, but then The Big Lebowski was kind of this weird bowling noir detective movie that was funny, and people didn't get it, and it took a long time for people to get it. Like, I saw it probably in like 2000, 1999. I didn't get it.
I like that you say a long time, and like it was like 2-3 years.
Well, they didn't get it when it first came out.
Right.
And then it became like a cult movie on cable, and then, all of a sudden there was Lebowski Fest, and people were wearing Little Lebowski Urban Achievers t-shirts, and everyone's drinking White Russians. It became this like huge phenomenon way after the fact.
Again, way after 2-3 years. It felt like way after when you were watching it.
I feel like when we were in college was when Lebowski mania was at its peak.
I remember like in one of my first classes,
like 5 years after
they
it
went,
came out.
they were like, "Who's your favorite director?" And they went around, "What's your favorite film? What's your favorite director?" It was like the first 2 rows, everybody was just like Coen Brothers, Big Lebowski. So
I mean, I do think it's a perfect movie. Every
It's a great
line,
fucking movie.
every scene is great. It's hilarious.
Not their best movie though. The Coen Brothers.
I'm in a minority. I think A Serious Man is their best film,
I love A Serious Man. I love Fargo.
but all of them are up there.
I love the Hudsucker Proxy, which a lot of people do not care
I really
for.
liked Blood Simple,
Blood Simple's
I've
a great
only
movie.
seen the
I like that
last
one.
half hour, and I was blown away.
but
I
I
gotta
wouldn't
watch
call
it.
it their
What are you,
best
the opposite
movie.
of me? You see the ends of movies? You woke up and watched the end of the movie?
It's a great last half hour of a movie.
Yeah.
It is.
Fantastic.
I agree.
But you can really see the influences of. You can see that in Big Lebowski. You can see like them. They were like, let's make a straight up noir film. Let's do it all right, and then let's play with it. Let's make weird.
Yeah.
Let's make something weird.
Make it like a completely bizarre
Just like
world.
a nightmare, a dream
Yeah.
that
Dream
makes
sequences.
sense.
It takes place in 1992 for some reason, so
Yeah.
that Saddam Hussein is a big part of it.
That's why I think Noah Hawley is maybe the most talented TV showrunner on air right now, besides if you count David Lynch back on Showtime. And it's funny that he's called David Lynch Light because Legion is very surreal, but really he's more like Coen Brothers Light. And I think Fargo is. I've been debating this the last week or so whether I like Fargo or Breaking Bad better as like what was the best show of like the last 10-15 years. Fargo is probably my favorite. The first 2 seasons are just so incredible, and it basically is Coen Brothers but funny. It's because like Fargo, they all have a sense of humor, but they don't play it up as much except for Big Lebowski. And obviously their comedies like Burn After Reading and the Tom Hanks one. But like in terms of combining that deep noir with humor, Big Lebowski comes the closest, and Fargo is probably even a little bit sillier than that. But I guess my point is the Big Lebowski. If you want to see Big Lebowski on TV, it's actually Fargo.
Like a TV series of Big Lebowski. Like Fargo has that same sensibility
It's
to
more
it.
Big Lebowski than Fargo.
Yeah, which is interesting because they have absolutely nothing to do with the series.
In tone. I guess obviously in the themes of Fargo the TV show and Fargo the movie are probably the biggest connection between the two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Big Lebowski's going to come up as its own topic.
So let's talk about this line. What is this line?
Yeah.
So it's the line that Peter Stormare, you said it,
So
he's one of the German nihilists
So they
looking
were
for the
they
money.
were porn stars, but
What's the exact line again?
That is why they called me. I am expert. The exact line is, "Where's the money, Lebowski?"
Okay.
so they're trying to get the money from Lebowski.
Right.
They're porn stars. How do they get involved?
Where's the money?
So you're asking to explain the plot of the Big
Just
Lebowski,
this
which is
part.
Well, yeah, but it's tied into
I know.
everything.
The room ties everything together.
really all tied together.
The rug ties everything together. Yeah.
Basically, the Big Lebowski, who's the industrialist Lebowski, his wife is kidnapped. It's this whole
They
plot.
kidnap her, right? No, she's disappeared. Yeah, that's right. Okay, God. All right,
See,
never
this is why
mind.
it
We
gets
can't.
really, really confusing.
So why? All right, let's.
Intentionally so, because they didn't want you to actually care about resolving
Right,
the
right,
mystery.
right.
It's all about the world. And
All
the
right, so let's do
characters.
this. We've got 3 minutes left. Why do we think this guy or woman? What was the name?
Steve suggested this
All
one.
right, why do we think Steve put this
could be a
topic in
woman's
here?
name.
Where's
What-
the money?
He's
I mean,
looking
it's
for
just
the
funny.
money.
It's funny. It's
Yeah.
a funny line.
It's a very. Anytime someone's looking for money, I feel like they, and
That's-
they're our
that's your-
age,
that's your
they
go-to?
would go to this.
This line could sum up the whole film in a way because you can't talk about the line
True.
without just describing the entire plot.
It's the linchpin.
It is a
it
linchpin
ties the
of-
movie together.
Yes, it ties
yeah.
the movie together.
Wow, this is a rug of a movie line. Yeah, I think you're kind of right on that.
Huh, that's very interesting.
Very interesting indeed.
And it's funny because I don't think it's my favorite Peter Stormare line. He has that really funny German accent the whole time.
Yeah.
We're nihilists. We believe in nothing.
Nothing, Lebowski.
I don't.
We don't care. That's my favorite line.
Peter Stormare, by the way, just amazing.
There's-
He's just great in everything.
There is nothing I like more than quoting obscure lines from movies I've seen hundreds of times, and I do it with Big Lebowski, but I really do it with Back to the Future too.
There should be like a karaoke version of
Oh,
movie
man.
where you just sing.
there is that.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
it.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
it for the Xbox, but you use the Kinect camera. It's called U-Star, and you basically they cut out, like, say, Tom Hanks on the bench in Forrest Gump, and they blue screen you in
Your face?
Yeah, and no, your body, your whole body.
Why
So
are
they,
we not doing
And you
this
do this
right
at
now?
home?
Yeah, I have it right here, and they blue screen
Why are
you.
we not doing this right now?
So the technology is like 10 years old. It's not great, but they blue screen you in. It's a little fuzzy. Your perimeter is fuzzy.
Sure.
But they give you the lines like karaoke. You can read the dialogue, or you just make up your own shit. So it's like my line was "Life is like a box of chocolates," and I was like, "Go fuck yourself. I'm on a bench."
Classic bench humor.
Penis.
Basically, that's what I did the first few times, and then it got old, and I never played it again.
Of
But I
course.
have it if you want to play.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
You have this Terminator. There's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Others.
And all the rest.
Big Lebowski might be in there, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I mean, it's a very quotable film, and that's why it's become such a big thing. I feel like people were just quoting it to their friends. They're like, "What's that from?" Oh, yeah, I
We
gotta watch
played a
that
drinking
movie.
game one time. We watched it where we were going to take a shot of beer.
I did not finish that time.
Every time somebody said Lebowski.
Or dude.
Oh, yeah, no, I've heard that one. That's really hard to play.
Yeah, me and Jeff finished the whole time. Yeah, you had to do beer. If we did whiskey, we would have died.
We would have died. Yeah.
But we made it the whole way through, and it was. They say the word Lebowski very, very often.
Yes, they do.
What was the one? Dune?
I thought it was Dude, too. I think we were also drinking at Dude.
Dude makes sense.
Where's your car, Dude? That's a different movie. That's Dude. Where's my car?
I think this is fairly common trivia, but since we only have 30 seconds left, I'll throw this out here. The "Shut the fuck up, Donnie" recurring line
classic.
to
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi is supposed to be like an in-joke because he was a motor mouth in Fargo, which was the previous movie.
Oh,
So
I like that.
They wrote that in there as like, the audience, I guess, a surrogate telling the character from Fargo to shut the fuck up.
Oh, I never noticed that. That's really cool.
I don't know if it's true or not.
I like as a fan theory. I like it.
It seems too weird to fringe. It seems too like, why would you make that? It's like,
I got you. You got jacked.
Oh man, and that's gonna do it for this episode of 90s Percentile. My goodness.
All right, and obviously we're about to play What Have We Learned? Hopefully we didn't all forget. But
We may.
before we do that, we're going to do our new favorite thing where we're going to thank the newest Patreon supporters. So if you want to support us on Patreon, how do you do that?
You can go to patreon.com/WeStudios, WEE Studios. And we haven't done this in a while, so we have a lot of names to read
Yeah,
off.
and obviously you can get all sorts of extra perks like free sync points, and we just did a great interview with Katrina Lind of Gooba Stop.
Yes.
And she was kind enough to allow us to release the entire conversation. She also spent an entire weekend I can't imagine
writing down our nonsense.
Writing down literally everything we're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, so check that out. That'll be exclusive if you do $2 or more, which some of these fine people have done. So thank you to Nicholas Guy.
What
Thank
a guy.
you, Nicholas. What a guy.
James Boss, you the boss.
Angela, I thought I was the boss.
Nope, James is.
We want to thank Roger. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Raj. No last name needed.
Nope.
Sean May, possibly related to Brian May of Queen.
Possibly.
Probably not. It's a fairly common name.
very common
It's
name.
also a month.
It is. We want to thank Jared Wilkin. Jared Wilkin.
He's Wilkin Pisser. So thank you, Jared.
It's Wilkin. I've confirmed.
Okay.
I couldn't see.
There you go. Eli O'Connor. Thank you, Eli O'Connor.
Thank you.
You are a great person
There you go.
who doesn't need a pun for his name.
There you go. Kevin Howard, past guest of the show.
Hey,
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
What a guy.
Joe, we didn't tell you. Basically, if you're going to be on the show, you have, at some point,
Yeah.
where's
gotta
the money?
there's a shakedown.
You got to start kicking in.
Give us the money, Tillman. Bryce Pullen, former
guest.
friend of We Studios. Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you, Bryce.
A new dad. So thank you for giving us money instead of buying baby food for your baby.
There you go. Alex. Just Alex.
Thank
so thank you,
Alex. We can call you Al.
I like that you're allowing us to call Alex Al.
Permission granted.
Thanks a lot, Al.
Eleni.
Eleni.
Let's go with Eleni. Thank you, Eleni.
Thank you.
We're getting to the really hip part of our Patreons that don't need last names.
Yeah, really.
Thank you, Cher.
Thank you, Madonna. J-Lo.
And thank you.
And thank you, Zap, who is. That's
There
a
you go.
legitimate
Just
one.
Zap.
And just Zap.
I have a
love it.
feeling we don't know. You might be the Zap we actually got to meet at Simpsons Trivia.
We did meet a Zap once. It'd be
if
interesting
that
if we
was
had
you,
two
you're an
Zaps.
awesome guy. If it's not, you're probably just as awesome as the Zap we met. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. It really does mean
means
so
the
much
world,
to us.
guys.
And
Thank you so much.
It pays for the solid gold.
Yep. All right, so that is it for this episode of 90s Percentile, and I'm going to turn to Joanna. Like I do every episode. I always turn to Joanna no matter where she is in the world.
It's like Mecca. You turn in that direction 5 times a day.
I'm always moving those.
I know. It's
very
hard.
hard.
Yeah, thank God for GPS.
Luckily, you never found that tracer that I put on you. I'm going to turn to you, Joanna. And I'm going to say, what have you learned today?
Oh my God, so much. So much. I learned that I need to go back and check out David Lynch's oeuvre.
How do you pronounce that?
Oeuvre.
Oeuvre?
Yeah.
It's just the word for egg.
Check out David Lynch. He makes
He's
great eggs.
He makes great eggs.
They're the best. Everyone says so.
I
That's
learned
good.
that you do a great that guy
that
from
guy?
Lebowski.
Oh, we don't
Yeah,
care. We
that's a
still
great
want
one.
some money in
I think that's
Lebowski.
just why that was the suggestion. They just wanted to hear you do
Maybe
it.
that's
It's a
that-
fun
that was
voice to
just,
do.
It's a very
Yeah.
fun voice.
Yeah,
All right.
and then well, no, one more because it's got to be threes. I
Okay.
learned that
I'm only doing one.
Usually we do
learned-
3 total, but okay.
Took them all.
Fine. I don't have to do one.
And you know, this is a great. We got deep. That was. I
got
learned that we
deep.
can get
We
deep.
talked
We can
about
be
Hitler.
fun, but we can get deep.
We're like James
absolutely.
Cameron in the Marianas Trench.
That's right.
We got deep.
We found extraterrestrial intelligence.
That too.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what?
The abyss.
Oh. Extraterrestrial? Oh, because they're
'Cause
not.
the
They're
movie
not
of the
from.
abyss,
They're
yeah.
not from the terrain.
They
Yeah,
call them
they're-
non-ETIs or something like that. They had a term for it.
Yeah, I mean they're not extra.
Have you ever had an
Earth.
ETI? They're very painful. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Well,
Oh,
go,
boy.
go.
Jack, what'd you learn today?
Do it
I
now.
learned that.
You do
Do
the
the
thing.
thing.
Do it. Dance, monkey, dance.
It was great, man. So I learned that give us the money, Lebowski. Where's the money, Lebowski?
Yeah.
Is the line that ties the room together. Ties the movie together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What did I learn today? I learned a few things. I really need to finish watching Lost Highway and a lot of other David Lynch movies that I
That
have,
was my
have not
thing.
at
You
all
can't
seen.
have that. That was my
All
thing.
right, then I will.
You were prop master, and then you
I
just took over.
three
You
of
took-
them.
All right.
you took
That's
over all our
unfair.
jobs.
That's very unfair.
Then here's an original one. I learned that Joanna thinks Obama is Hitler. So thank you so much, Joanna.
Hashtag Joe thinks Obama is Hitler.
I mean, we can pull up the audio. We have it on tape.
I'd like to see you try.
We go back and it's just deleted. It's like, oh my God, she's a
very-
witch.
What happened?
Witch.
See, that's the con to having all our guests wired physically
Yes,
with my
that's
stolen
true.
copper
Yeah,
wires.
it's terrible.
All right.
All
Joe,
right.
this was fantastic. You are a very, very funny individual. I assume the sketches you have written are also just as funny based on
Yes.
the clip and based on that.
Accurate.
Where do people find them?
If you're in New York City,
Sorry, Albany. Tough luck.
yeah, deal with it. We do every third Monday. We have a sketch show at the UCB Theater in Chelsea. It's the one on 26th Street, 8th Avenue. It's 9:30 p.m. I believe our next show is this June. I think it's the 19th is the Monday.
Okay. What
Okay.
are tickets? Like $50, $100?
They're like $5.
What?
Exactly $5 for an hour of comedy. You get 2 different sketch teams.
Even Richie Rich's poor friends can afford that. My
Yeah.
God.
So everybody should go.
Everyone should go. I'm also I'm in DCM this year. I'm performing with my improv team.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
What improv
The
is?
Del Close
What
Marathon,
is,
my friend.
what is improv?
So DCM is basically the Coachella of improv. So it's a weekend. You buy a bracelet. You get into. They basically do improv and pretty much all improv shows for 72 hours straight.
Yeah, you can go at like 3 in the morning,
You can
right?
go 3 a.m. and see a bunch of guys' balls.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
Oh, my
what's gonna
goodness.
happen?
That's the balls hour.
That's the balls hour.
We've all seen Macbeth.
And yes, that's what they. That's
I
how
don't
it
even
goes.
know how to react to these things.
Yeah, so that we'll be performing my team's Room 31. We're performing, I believe it's a Saturday night at 9:30 at one of the spaces, TNCC. No, nobody's gonna do this, but like it's really cool.
Very cool.
And yeah, I think that's basically it.
What about
That's when
you
can
on
see
social
me.
media? If we want to follow you?
I have a Twitter. It's Tilsey. And it's also my Instagram, but
We'll
like
throw
some
that in
of
the show notes.
Throw it in the
and
show
we'll throw
notes.
in links to everything else. So everybody should definitely check out Joe. Super talented.
Oh, that means I have to get links to all this stuff. Jack, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh boy, just Google Hitler.
It comes up.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks. That's my Twitter. That's my Instagram. You can always see. I noticed. So I usually post pictures of things I come across in the street, like umbrellas thrown out and stuff. And like every once in a blue moon, I will actually do a picture of myself,
Yeah.
and that always gets likes and nothing else. I like. Apparently, nobody actually cares about my. They just want the selfies.
They just want selfies, my
people
man.
like selfies.
People love them.
I thought they were lame. I think they're lame. It's weird taking a picture of myself. Anyway, Jackie No Breaks is my Instagram and my Twitter, and it's currently on hiatus because I haven't had time to update it. But check out my Facebook page, Use in a Sentence, which is spelling homework I've scanned from 1992, where I put words into spelling sentences. And if you have any idea of how my brain works now, it worked the same way 25 years ago, and I was batshit crazy.
It's astonishing. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Dan Says. I tweet extremely infrequently. I don't think I've ever tweeted a selfie.
Tweet on Sundays. Follow Dan on Sundays when you're tweeting about the wrestling.
I always, if there's a pay-per-view, I usually have at least one zinger tweet.
There
like,
you go.
Hashtag wrestling.
so
Maybe better than that.
go to hashtag wrestling. It's all Dan Mulhall tweets.
It's just me. Obviously,
Every single one.
The show at 90s Percentile or at We Studios Pod is our overall podcast network Twitter. And the website, of course, wepodcast.com, weepodcast.com, or you can just go to 90spercentile.com. It'll take you to just the 90s Percentile episodes.
And if you want to support us, you already heard. Patreon
You
is
already
the
heard
best way to do
Patreon's
it.
the best way. Go to patreon.com/WeStudios.
You can shop on Amazon.
Go to wepodcast.com, click our Amazon links, or just go to amazon.wepodcast.com. That helps us out. Helps keep the show free. We get a small cut whatever you buy.
And my favorite is when you guys comment on other threads that are talking 90s or talking Simpsons, and you just throw a We Podcast link, and you're like, hey, check out these guys from We Studios. Nobody knows about them, but they're actually pretty good. That's my
pretty good.
favorite way. Word of mouth. Do it. And one famous way, of course, is the classic iTunes review.
Oh, yeah. You like the show, but you don't want to spend a dime. Here's what you do, fellas, ladies. Take out your book and write this down. Go to iTunes.
If you're listening, Richie Rich.
If you're listening, Richie Rich, have
we're poor
Professor
too.
McBean do it for you. That was who Mike McShane played in the movie.
Because he was a bean counter.
Because he was a bean counter. Go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. Tell people what you like about this show. Is it the crazy nonsense? Is it the deep Hitler conversation? I don't know. And you may get a
Can't
review.
get it anywhere else.
You may get that review read on a show by a future guest. Guys, we don't have any iTunes reviews to read right now.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. We don't actually have a review.
If you're not one of the 50 or so people who have been kind enough to do a 5-star, leave us a review.
Leave us a review.
We'll read it. We'll make our
will
guest
read it.
read it.
And since we don't have a review, Joanna, do you want to review this show?
can I-
Possibly this episode?
I'm going to read a review.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
All right. This review comes from Star Lover 1792.
Okay.
Great year.
And this person says, okay, I'm just going to read it
Yeah,
verbatim.
just read it right
I'm just
from
going
the,
to read it
read it
verbatim.
right from the thing you have in front of you.
This good sewing show. I XX star asterisk love you Dan Jack awesome me want show forever. And then he just drew a picture. I didn't know you could draw a picture in iTunes.
I don't know how you did that.
Named his
Star
kid an emoji,
Lover.
yeah.
Amazing.
Really accurate photo of the two of you guys.
I love it.
You're
It's-
still
it's-
reading the review.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
And we're
It's
reading
beautiful.
the parts to say Jack and Dan read these
Yeah,
parts
but the
respectively.
review is
Yeah, yeah.
actually a play script he
It's
wrote.
made of words.
Amazing.
The drawing.
And that
And
was it.
that's
That's the iTunes
That's a
review.
great
Incredible.
review, written from the Red Room in Twin Peaks.
Thank you so much for that. That was lovely. And Joanna, you have been a terrific guest, so thank you. Maybe we'll have you on another podcast sometime.
Probably not.
Maybe this next week.
Maybe a tease for a future
Maybe
episode of a
in
different
about
podcast
10
we do.
days, you'll be on worst episode ever. A
We'll
Simpsons
see.
podcast.
I don't know. Hint. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this episode of 90s Percentile.
Yeah, my name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we will see you in another decade.